I've been in the industry for 14 years, and along that journey I've met numerous people who have proudly claimed that they're in some way involved in the design and in the creation of the energy market that we find ourselves in today. What's fascinating, as well as in my different roles over recent years, I've been fortunate enough to meet the majority of new entrants that we now see flooding into the market. And the new entrants view is, what a convoluted, complex mess of an industry that the energy industry is that we work in. This is from a backdrop of new entrants who are coming into the market from different sectors, such as telecoms, mobile, finance, banking and software. And a lot of the time they are baffled and confused by the approach and the complexity of the market design, which historically has been seen by some people as the envy of Europe. I think the regulator Ofgem has probably the hardest job of all the regulators in the UK, trying to maintain and manage a market which is so complex. Couple this with the pressure that they get from suppliers, networks, politicians, it's almost mission impossible for Ofgem. A good example of this are QR codes, a government initiative forced onto the industry. I think what a great return on effort. Thousands of people, are they really out there now scanning their bills? Personally, I've not met one person who's used their QR code. I've actually not met many people who even look at their bill, let alone scan it. And this is the industry in terms of engagement that we work in. And yet suppliers had to conform with the mandate, taking time, effort, consultations, software redesigns, and all that did was just distract suppliers from getting on with what they want to do, which is serving their customers. Can I just see, has anybody here scanned their QR code bill recently in the last 3 months? Can I see a show of hands? Thank you. Yes, not testing, at home. So that's a good representation. There might be 100 people in the room, that's 1%. Okay. So, ultimately, being in the industry can cause tunnel vision for those of us who've been in it so long. I'll share a parallel example with you that I talked to some of our friends and colleagues about. So let's set up a new mobile phone network provider, selling mobile phones on a new mobile network. Now, when we market our product to our new customers, our proposition will be simple. When they sign up with us, we'll ask them if they could give us a call at the end of every month, wait about 20 minutes or so to get through to our call centre, and could they let us know how many minutes they've spent on the phone and how many texts they've sent. And once they've done that, don't worry, we'll give you a bill. Now, if you have a challenge getting through to a call centre or you just can't be bothered to give us a call, don't worry, we'll just guess your bill. That is the proposition in the energy retail market today. Of course, now there is light at the end of the tunnel. Smart metering. It's really important that we get this right. We should be desperately trying to simplify this industry for all parties involved and for the British public. Smart is all about data. One new entrant stated to me that the energy market is all about data management, having good data and maximising the benefits from analysing that data and helping to reduce the burden on bill payers. Moreover, as you've probably heard, with good data, the different products that suppliers can offer our customers is endless. So with this great opportunity in front of us, are we able to move forward? The government has decided that the responsibility to roll out smart meters largely rests with the suppliers. A widespread disparate group of competing companies, each with different tactical and strategic goals, different processes, different systems, and vastly different sized customer bases. Moreover, they're operating in a marketplace where customer engagement is one of the lowest of most of the industries in the UK. I mentioned I've been in the industry 14 years. I'm not actually sure where my gas meter is in my house, and I certainly don't know what my MPAN or my MPRN is, rightly or wrongly. When I was running a supply business only for two to 4 years ago, we would take customers on who had smart meters, and they didn't even realise that they had a smart meter. So we're moving into a smart world from a base where the industry market domain data is often described unreliable at best, large suppliers with large legacy customer bases where data accuracy has its own challenges, and a customer market with little to no engagement. My experience has often been when decisions are taken to drive wholesale changes in the marketplace, the burden being placed on the suppliers, the briefing documents will often start with one small phrase that not a lot of people pay attention to at the start of any kind of brief. The phrase is, Mr. Supplier, contact all of your customers. Now, if we think about the challenges I mentioned with the industry in terms of data integrity and customer engagement, contacting all of our customers is more challenging than whoever the author of these briefs seems to think. My experience personally, especially for suppliers, trying to contact their customers, is that they'll get 50, maybe 65% at best as a contact rate when trying to communicate with all their existing customers. So if I'm a supplier with 100,000 customers and I wish to conform with the smart metering mandate rolled out by the government, I'm going to have at best, with 100,000 customers, at best a constructive dialogue with 65,000 of them. Then from those customers, I have to persuade them, this audience of unengaged people, to have a smart meter. Let's say that we're incredibly successful and convince 75% of them to take up the offer. Very good conversion rate. Then I have to arrange a convenient time to go and go do the visit and do the meter exchange. And hopefully this meter exchange is possible. But ultimately that could cause anywhere up to a 15 to 20% drop-off. So now the challenge facing suppliers in this marketplace is that they've invested lots of time, effort, potentially millions of pounds in rolling out the smart meters to their customers. And they've only achieved, out of those 100,000 original numbers, any mathematicians in the room, they've only achieved 39,000 smart meters being installed. And the cost now of reaching the rest of those customers is going to grow exponentially with no guarantee of success. And of course, where does this cost go? It goes on to the customer's bills. So for me, I just wanted to come up and share, this is the challenge that I think is facing the industry today and facing suppliers. Now, the good news is I've actually invited Amit, as I said, from Bulb, who's one of our customers, to talk you through his experience of being a new entrant coming into the market and engaging with the challenging world of smart. I think the one thing you will hear from Amit is obviously his billing side and dealing with smart is taken care of as he's a customer of Juniper. Thanks very much.
Hi. So yeah, we're Bulb. We're using technology to make energy simple, affordable, and renewable. So yeah, a bit about ourselves. I used to work for Barclays, trading gas and electricity. Hayden Wood, my co-founder, used to be a management consultant who worked with a number of large energy suppliers. We now supply affordable and renewable energy to homes and businesses across the UK. We were founded in 2015. Hayden and I were working on it for about a year before that. We're currently the fastest growing 100% renewable supplier in the UK. We're also a certified B Corp, which we're very proud of. We're part of a growing group of companies who have a triple bottom line, which is people, profit, and planet. So sort of adhere to sort of rigorous standards. We also have a team of 30 people just based up the road in Shoreditch, so not far for us to travel. So why did we start Bulb? We saw three big problems with the energy industry. Firstly, bad experience. So, as I'm sure any of you are aware, utilities are one of the most disliked industries, and we set out to do something about that. Also, energy suppliers have been too expensive in the past. Expensive operations and legacy systems have meant that consumers have been paying over the odds for what they should be. And finally, renewables. Less than 1% of consumers in the UK buy from renewable tariffs. That's because consumers believe it's costly compared to conventional energy. Renewable tariffs have often been marketed as an upsell, so it's why don't you pay £10 extra per month to go renewable, when actually the retail cost of renewable energy isn't significantly more. So, Bulb's success is built on these three pillars. We're renewable, we're affordable, and we also provide great customer service that people want to talk to their friends about. So a little bit more about our energy, our service, and our growth. 100% of our electricity is renewable. We currently buy predominantly from hydro sites and biogen, so anaerobic digesters. We have a number of PPAs with independent renewable generators, and we're constantly trying to expand that community of independent generators that we buy from. What we're also very excited about is that 10% of our gas comes from anaerobically digested waste. So green gas is a burgeoning industry in the UK. Very exciting, been to a few conferences on that, met a number of farmers up and down the UK. People talk about Elon Musk and innovation, but I think some of the greatest innovation in this country is happening in farms. We just have one tariff, and it's an everyday low price tariff. And this is unique to what Bulb does. We don't have a sort of a fixed deal that to acquire customers that then ends up with people maturing onto an expensive standard variable tariff later. We just have one fairly priced, low-cost renewable tariff. So how do we keep our costs down? We've invested a lot in technology. We have scalable technology, cloud infrastructure, work with agile partners such as Juniper. We automate a lot of the manual processes and industry pain points, where I think traditionally a lot of suppliers will have had to have large teams working on this. As we've built, we've made sure that we're continuously automating and improving these processes. We need to spend less manual time, less people on those. We also have a well-paid and highly motivated energy specialist team who deal with exceptions that arise from these manual tasks. When you call up Bulb, we answer within 10 seconds. The person who you speak to on the phone will very likely be able to answer even the most sort of complex queries, which often have to get referred around to a number of different departments. This gives us a lot of operational flexibility and also provides a great service to customers. So we deal with 80% of our queries at the first touch point. So this means that we've had great feedback from our customers so far. We're actually, I looked at it before, we're actually number 2 on Trustpilot, so we're in this constant battle with our friends at Octopus. But yeah, we've been maintaining very high trust ratings on the independent website Trustpilot, and we have over 1,000 reviews on that, so it's a decent-sized sample set. What this means is that rather than consumers just finding out about us through price comparison sites, we're actually growing through word of mouth. People are becoming aware of Bulb by people talking to their friends about it, which we think is quite a move forward in the way that people talk about utilities. Traditionally, it's not something that you share on social media. It's not something that you talk to your friends about down the pub or you talk about at dinner parties. Who is your energy supplier? And we are finding that that's one of our key drivers of awareness, which means that we are growing very fast. We've since we came out of control market entry about a year ago, we've doubled pretty much every quarter since then. It's really important for us to proactively engage with our customers now, before smart meters. We don't think that smart meters necessarily are the key to engaging with consumers. We provide our members with impact reports detailing on a very sort of individual level how much carbon they've saved by being on a renewable tariff, how much their usage has been versus sort of similar sized properties. And this is stuff that we can do at the moment using data that we have that isn't necessarily coming from smart meters. We have an online community as well. Many of you will have heard of giffgaff. We have a sort of similar giffgaff community model where people engage on the community forum if they have queries or questions, and other members will actually answer those for them. So this has been something that's very positive and means that we actually get a lot of response to when we contact customers. So yeah, as discussed, we don't rely on smart meters to connect with our members, and I think it would be a big risk if we were to think that putting a smart meter on the wall is going to suddenly change our relationship with them. It's a gradual process. So smart is the sprinkles. It's what helps us enhance that relationship, but it doesn't enable it. Smart meters, we do see helping us give better data to our members on what they're using. We want to gamify it further. We want to be able for them to be able to compare versus their neighbours, versus similar sized properties in the area. And through that process, we see that being the biggest driver of reducing usage. Before we get into the world of connected devices, demand response, we think that data is the thing that is going to really drive behavioural change. Yeah, I mean, as many of you will have discussed, it's obviously counterintuitive for a utility to want to reduce usage, but we see that, as hugely improving trust, improving referral, and reducing churn. So they're huge business drivers for us to do this in a meaningful way. So I guess on to some challenges around smart, which is one of the questions that we were asked for this. And there's a number of technical challenges that will be discussed at other points. The smartphone is the most successful consumer electronic device of all time. We have nearly 100% penetration in the UK, or 80%, so it's huge. It's the most successful consumer electronic device of all time. About 50% of our members communicate with us solely through smartphones, and a large proportion of that only communicate with us through mobile social networks, so through things like Facebook and Twitter direct messaging. So it's a really important way that we communicate with customers, which begs the question: why do we need to be installing this thing? The fact that it's a mandatory part of the smart program is something that we see as additional cost. We hope that as time progresses, the mandatory requirements for installing IHDs will be removed, and we can focus on having consumer access devices, which will enable us to have that real-time data going direct to people's mobile phones. Our members are young. We have a relatively young customer base. We over-index in people between the age of 25 to 40, renters, people who have traditionally been completely disengaged from the energy market. And the key to really moving that forward is the mobile phone. So whilst we are very excited about smart meters rolling out, as long as that can continue to enhance our relationship and particularly drive people to engaging through the mobile phone, we're very excited about the future. And finally, we'd just like to thank Juniper as well. We, as discussed, we've worked with a number of partners along the way, and it's great having an agile partner. And we hope that continues to progress at an even faster rate going forwards.